Welcome to my Parenting vlog. I'm Victoria, a master's of marriage and family therapy counselor out in Brentwood, Tennessee. And I specialize working with kids, teens, parents, and women residing in Tennessee. So today's topic is how to raise truth tellers. I'm going to provide 5 reasons on why kids and teens lie, and then tips on how to support truth telling. Remember that this video is just for educational purposes and it doesn't replace therapy. That's always really important. All right, so lying. Right? I hate it. You hate it. We all hate it. It's so frustrating. When our kids tell a lie, they've told it to us many times, it's a huge time waster. And we want them to tell the truth. And we're tired of telling the same story of the boy who cried wolf, or whatever story that your culture uses on why it's important to tell the truth. And we feel like if we have to tell it one more time, we're just going to lose it, right? I know for me as a parent of 3 that lying is really triggering. It's frustrating. And one of the best things that we can do as parents to help foster patience and understanding is taking time to stop and think about the why behind the behavior. Why is our child doing this? What need are they trying to get met? Then we can teach and guide our children on how to get their needs met in a healthy way, or how to, for them to express their feelings or their emotions, right? All right, so let's get to it. Why children or teens lie. So one of the reasons why is that, hey, they've discovered the idea of lying and they're testing things out to kind of see what happens. What happens if I tell mom and dad that I didn't tear up the whatever, or, what happened? Oh, I got this out of it. Or when I blame so-and-so, my sister or brother, I didn't get in trouble, right? So they're like little scientists, right? Cute little scientists, but we don't want them to lie, right? But they're trying to test things out. The other reason is to increase self-esteem or to get approval from peer groups or from a person that they love, right? So I like to give an example of this would be, you've heard your kids say, oh, to a friend or some friends, right? Just passing by, oh, I'm so good at Call of Duty. Like I could be anyone in the world. I'm so good. Or I made like 15 soccer goals today. They're looking for that approval. They want people to go, wow, you're really awesome. So that's another reason. Another reason is to shy away from attention or get the focus off of them. They might lie. Maybe they're having a bad day, but because they don't want that attention, they'll say, oh, it's fine. My day was good. Right. So that might be another reason. And then this is for my ADHD kiddos. If kid has ADHD, they're impulsive. So oftentimes it's hard for them to tell the truth because they're not thinking before they speak. A lot of kids deal with that too. But if you're a parent or caregiver of a kiddo or teen who has ADHD, you know it, you've seen it. You can see it on their face. It's the first thing that comes out of their mouth without realizing that maybe what they're saying isn't true, right? And then this is a big one. This is for any human being, avoiding getting in trouble, because you don't want to get in trouble. Who wants to get in trouble, right? We don't want that consequence or that bad thing that's going to happen. Or adults, we lie to the cop that we didn't see the speed limit, or really we didn't, or why we couldn't make it to that meeting, right? To avoid doing the thing that you don't want to do, right? So there's many reasons why, little white lie, right? There's many reasons why kids lie. So now that you know the reason behind it, the other thing is kind of talking about like, what are some tips, right? Now you know why. So what do I do, Victoria? I'm going to tell you. So number 1 is allow them to pause and help them pause before telling them, before that you let them tell you what happened. This works really great with kids and teens, even ourselves, gathering our thoughts to think and process like what happened, right? So you could say something, and remember, you can say, find what works, what sounds like you. You don't need to sound like me, but you could say something like, I want to know what happened to the flower pot that's broken out there. Now, wait a minute, before you speak, take a minute, take a breath, tell me about what really happened, take your time, tell me the facts, right? So that's an example. Another thing to do is experiment with using one of the following. One, letting them have a do-over. Let them try again. Giving them a chance, right? Giving them grace. Or providing them with a lesser consequence or no consequence in order to reduce that anxiety and the fear they feel of getting in trouble or disappointing someone else, right? So you could say something like, that story didn't really make sense. You know what? Why don't let's try that again, okay? Or you could say like, you know what? I'm going to give you another opportunity. Let's be truth tellers, right? Or you could say, that story doesn't really make sense, or I don't think it really happened like that. It doesn't seem that way. You know what? I'm going to give you another chance to tell me the truth, and you'll get a lesser consequence. You'll only have to go to bed early for 10 minutes rather than 30 minutes. So think about what you're going to say. So that's an example. And then another way to increase truth telling is providing them with a truth telling pep talk. Hype it up, right? And hype it up in a really accepting way, right? So you could say anything, again, say it in your own way, but reminding them that you don't expect perfection, reminding them that you love them no matter what, that everyone makes mistakes, that they're not bad kids, just because they made a bad choice, that their behavior doesn't make them who they are. Often, like that kind of encouragement and that pep talk could really encourage them and give them the courage that they need to tell you the truth. Not saying that these tips are going to work 100% of the time, but now you're going to have a grab bag, right, in your tool chest, right, to handle these things. So an example of a way that you could say this to your child is, hey, I'm going to ask you a question, and you're probably going to tell me something that I'm not going to like to hear, but I want you to know that I love you no matter what, that nobody is perfect. Even I make mistakes. Adults make mistakes too. We all make mistakes. And just because we didn't make a good choice doesn't mean that we're bad people. So take your time, and I want you to give me an honest answer. And give them that time, right? So last two is don't make a scene, don't cause a scene. Pull your child over in private, somewhere where they can't be seen or heard. Because taking away the audience really can reduce that pressure to please their peers, to save face in front of others, or put on a type of a performance to avoid the situation, right? To put distance. I was debating whether to tell a story. Yes, I'm going to tell a little quick story. I used to many, years before I was a therapist, I worked at residential treatment centers with teens. Really loved that job. It was never a dull moment. And one of the things that they always taught us when handling crisis behavior, that there's an out of control scene, is to remove the teenager or have the other teens get out of the way, right? To be able to de-escalate the situation. And I couldn't tell you how many times I saw that if that teen was in the presence of other teens, they were going to want to please their peers. They would do the things that they wouldn't have normally done had that observation, those other teens and peers, if they weren't there, they wouldn't have acted that way. They wouldn't have been that hype, right? So a way that we would manage that as for a crisis is to either have all the teenagers go to another area or have that teen walk with us to a different location. And I tell you, it worked so much, being able to get them on their own and help them calm down, right? Or help them be able to tell the truth, right? So there was story time is over. Number 5 is, sometimes as parents, we don't have our best moments. Our feelings get really big, and we do the thing that we really shouldn't have done, and we said the things that we really shouldn't have said, right? So for all you parents out there that struggle and like lying is a trigger for you too, here's my advice for all parents. Don't shame them. Don't label them as liars, and don't humiliate them for lying. That's not going to increase their truth telling. If anything, it's emotionally damaging to them, and it's emotionally traumatizing for them. I'm talking about a little t, not big trauma, but it is a traumatic experience. I can't tell you how many times adult clients will tell me the memories that they remember from being shamed or humiliated as children, and it affects them still today. And to work through that, right? So do whatever you need to do, mom and dad, parents, grandmother, aunts and uncles, whoever is, taking care of teens and kids or has them in their lives. Work on calming yourself down so that you don't do those things, right? Those are my tips for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember, you can visit my website at www.victoria-valdez, and that's Valdez with a Z.com.